fans, it's me, Alexia Patrick. I saw something today that really much irritated me, and I want to almost cry out scam because I just saw a college on my suggestion feed on my Facebook page suggesting that to become a writer that you need to go to college now to become the best of the best. First off, if you have to go to college to become a writer, then you're not a writer. Writing comes from the heart. With that said, I'm going to give you 4 years of college as a lesson for free. First off, I'm going to show you my own stuff, okay? Xerox copies, little tiny notebooks, and spiral notebooks will become your best friend. Now, hold on, curtain. So over here. Okay. Now, when you first start writing, you got to figure out your characters. You got to figure out your meaning behind everything. The whole purpose of your story. So what you do is, you get a little notebook like this, about this big, and you write down, as you can see, my soon-to-be characters in a book, and who they are, and my whole purpose of writing the book and the lesson behind them. There has to be a purpose to your book in order to be a good book. Okay? So we're going to start there. You just can't tell a story just to tell a story. It has to have a purpose. If there's no purpose, and there's no hype, and there's no solution, then you don't have a story, but you have an essay, or as we call it, an informatory speech, therefore a news article. So we got to start there. Second of all, once you have this all written down, you then have to make side notes to yourself as you write. You got to write down things for your own note purposes. Because if there's something you really want to touch point on, you can't forget about that, or you ruin the whole purpose of your story. So yeah, a lot of note taking comes involved on top of that. Second of all, you got to have your facts right. I just wrote a paranormal story. It's not up yet, but it'll soon be. So you guys are getting a heads up on everything. I just wrote a story about a lot of biblical stuff. Xerox copy the Bible if you're going to do biblical stuff. You don't want to take off the Christians because Christians get very angry when they become very defensive. So don't sit there and try to word out a Bible verse or talk about a part of the Bible when clearly that's not the part of the Bible, because a Christian person will be the first one to call you out. Xerox copies are your friends. So we're going to talk there. Now, another thing you need to do is while you're writing, you got to also write down really cool things that you want to happen in your book. Remember my little tiny note takings? This is where the importance of making sure that your conversational pieces stay in line. I like to do what I call your boards. As you see in most graphic designs, you always see with Disney movies and the behind the scenes of movies is drawings, sketches, post-it notes of things that you want to happen in the story. That's where another notebook comes in. As you can see right here from my paranormal book, these are my notes. This is things that I want to have said in the book. And as I say them in the book, I cross them off. As you can see right here, some of the stuff doesn't go in, but I have idea over here. The stuff that says notes is the stuff that I want to remember and touch base on, and the stuff that says ideas, which would be kind of nice to have, but not necessarily. This keeps you organized. So as I go through here, I rip pages out. As you can see, where are we at here? Strings attached. That's my book. These are my notes. I'm currently typing into my computer right now, but technically the story's handwritten. Now that we're done. Wait, what did I say? Did I say handwriting? Yes, actually, yes, I did. Handwrite your stories. People sit there and say, Alexia, it's 2015. We don't use paper anymore. We type it on a laptop or now a tablet. And if I want to take notes, I'll just text it to myself through my phone and I'll remember them. No, you won't. Let me tell you a little story what happened. Once upon a stupid moment, Alexia Patrick over here, me, went on to typing my book, and I highlighted and slid my files from one point to another. And lo and behold, in the lovely world of internet, my files disappeared. 20 chapters of my book that I just typed was gone. Poof. Gone. What do you do? 20 chapters written. That's half a book. If not a little bit more, maybe a little less, but it doesn't matter. It's 20 chapters written. Do you remember what you just wrote in your 20 chapters? Do you remember the whole purpose of the story, what the touch point on? I, of course, naturally you freak out, screaming out, cry, beg to God that, you'll move mountains for him if he finds the book again. But then it turns out that, let's see here. I had my biblical notes. I had my purpose notes. I had my characters and the meaning behind them. I had my handwritten notebook. Guess what I had the joys of doing? I had to sit there, go back to my notebooks, and rewrite the entire 20 chapters that I just spent 3 weeks typing. Do you think I was happy? No. But guess what? Had I not had those papers, my book would have been gone. Just like that, my computer ate my homework. So yeah, I use a notebook to do my writing. Now, this is kind of cool because guess what? This right here is the very beginning, the first couple of pages. So here's a little inside to you guys for a little sneak peek. Right here, first page, right here. Guess what? Red Riding Hood 4. 11 books in, and I still use notepad and paper. My goal is someday, when I make it big and I make it famous, I'm going to take these notebooks and to my dire fans, you get to look inside of the original story and how it was originally wrote and how I changed it as I wrote it. That's my present to you guys. And if something were to happen and I were to get hacked and someone tried to steal my stuff, I have my notebooks to prove when I wrote them. The original content. Who has that? If someone tried to copyright your stuff, do you have any proof of it? No, you don't, but I do. I also do it with my poetry. Right here. Here we go. Poetry 10, Poetry 11. Composition notebooks. And when I'm done with them and I type them in my computer, I put them in Ziploc baggies and I put them in storage. So water don't get a hold of them, and neither does mold or anything else with your natural elements. My book is safe. Always write things down on paper. I don't care what anybody says. Write it down on paper or you'll be sorry. One click and 20 chapters was gone. That is 9 pages to 7 pages per chapter, okay? That is 180 typed pages. 3 weeks gone. You can never get back. Always, always, always handwrite on pen and paper your stories. If not, you're going to sit here one day and go, oh my God, Alexia Patrick, I can't believe I just did this. I pulled a stupid mode. I lost my book. My book is gone. Another reason why I keep a hold of the original copies of your book is for an example of the lady who wrote How to Kill a Mockingbird. She wrote a story. A guy suggested her publisher, why don't you write it in the eyes of a child? How to Kill a Mockingbird came about. Guess what? That original book was gone. The original copy was gone. So guess what? Quite a few, 40 years, something like that later? Some publisher guy's cleaning out his storage and goes and found this book. Calls her, like, do you want it back? Yeah. She thought it was gone. Why wouldn't you have a copy of your own book? You need a copy in the cloud, a copy on a thumb drive, a copy on an external hard drive, a copy of your books on paper, in binders, sealed, in a safe spot. There is no reason why you don't have at least 4 to 5 copies of your book somewhere in fear of it. Now, another stupid thing I did was when Windows 8 came out, I didn't know that they were going to get rid of Windows XP. So what ended up happening was when Windows XP went out of style, Windows 8 stopped recognizing it. Any documents from Windows XP turned into a PDF. All of my typed work was gone. Everything was PDF. And lo and behold, ironically, my PDF player stopped working. It wouldn't open my files. I'm freaking out. That is how many books I just wrote gone. An easy 7. Easy. So, what do? You take your books, you email them to yourself and you save them in a file. You make your own private email nobody knows about, and you save all of your work on your email. So then your word process is documents on your email, because documents to email never changes. And if for some odd reason it becomes PDF, you can still alter it. You open up your document in your email as edit, and then you open it underneath the Google editing, and you resave it as Windows down to your file, and your document comes back. It's not that hard. I freaked out, but nobody told me this. You need to remember this. I don't care if you have to subscribe to my video or if you have to download my video and save it. Take notes if you have to. You can alter a PDF, so do not freak. So if you do want to save it in PDF form, that is okay, because the PDF program itself doesn't change, but Windows does, computers do, so that is okay. Just make sure you have copies. So again, you email it to yourself, a thumb drive, an external hard drive, a computer, a paper copy, and then have it in the cloud. 6 now, we're up to 6 places. So you never lose this book ever. You have no idea how it feels like to have your life sucked out of you when you lose a book, because I lost 20 chapters and I freaked out. I had to rewrite 20 of them. And for the record, my book is already typed in the computer that I actually lost. And it took me longer to type it back in, but I was so blessed that I had the paper file. They don't tell you this in college. They make you type everything down. Excuse my kids screaming in the background. In the process of all of this, I want to show you something really cool. You also, when you're writing sequels, will forget characters. As much as you say, yeah, I'll remember, especially when you write a sequel after your books have been written for a couple years, you will forget your characters. This is what you do when you start writing. Here's an insight again of all of my characters that are going to be in Red Riding Hood 4. So if you don't want to know, close your eyes and just listen. I wrote them all down on the inside of my notebook to keep track of who's going to be here and who's not. Okay? So, with that said, that will keep me in line of who's who, because sometimes it's very hard to go back to a book. And when you have as many books written as I do, it is extremely hard to go back because you don't remember which chapter was what book this situation went in, because you write stories so much that your brain just puts them in the back and you have nothing to jog your memory. And no writer has time to sit there and remember what each character looked like or which each character went through. So that brings to me my Bible binder. And I call it my Bible binder because every writer should have this. In my binder, and I'm going to start with this one, I love to draw. So I drew 4 plans and sketches of what my characters' houses will look like. So I can remember what the front of them looks like. Okay? Then on top of that, I drew floor plans. Okay? Facilities, buildings, the whole 9 yards. Okay? I had to sit here and copy and write what I think the axe and daggers would look like, how I want my character to be perceived, so I can sit there and on purposely write exactly what I'm seeing, because sometimes you need a visual aid, and they're not going to teach you this in no college. So again, this is my advice for free on becoming a writer. Again, Red Riding Hood's house, Red Riding Hood's floor plan. Okay? Now, also, you're going to realize too, not only do floor plans change, but so do your characters change. Here is paranormal. My characters. I wrote a list of my characters, what they look like. In my paranormal book, they had auras. So what they look like, who they are, who they're associated with. I wrote down my characters. So if 3 years from now, I want to write another paranormal book, my characters are right here. I have them. This is my copy. This is my Bible. I keep my binder together. And you have no idea how much I'm going back to this book, especially now that I'm writing Red Riding Hood 4. And mind you, the last time I wrote 3 was 2 years ago when I wrote this book. So I'm doing this all from scratch. I really need these characters. So I'm going to keep going on. Sometimes you need visual aids. I talk about how my character, Kelly and Danny in my paranormal book, have Aura's eyes. This is what their eye color looks like. How can you describe that to somebody? You can't. So, to make matters even better, I also did that. Now, I'm going to keep going, so bear with me a minute here. I'm going to take a break while you concentrate on everything that I'm telling you. Because I got to prove another point, and I got to find a picture for it. Okay? Description is a key. When you're describing buildings, I find it hard just to make up a building. I have to visualize. I'm a visualization type of person. Now, I can find it here. Okay. I had to describe a house in the deep south bayou of Louisiana on a plantation. Do you know how hard it is to describe a plantation house in Louisiana from like the 1800s? Not fun at all, but I had to. And how else are you going to do that? I took to Pinterest, I took to Google, and I took a bunch of characteristics of a bunch of houses, a bunch of floor plans that I had to search. Yes, you have to do research. And I put them all together with pictures that I liked of a plantation from the South. I Googled South Louisiana plantations, and a bunch of pictures came up. And I saved those pictures to my hard drive. And I have those pictures downloaded on my Facebook, which, by the way, is Alexia Patrick, L.L.C. And this is what I came up with. Now, can you remember that? Can you remember every detail of that porch? And I talk about my characters walking out into the porch and what they're overlooking. Oh, yeah, here. My wickedly cool waterfall. I'm really proud of that one. Yeah, I sketched it out, and I put it in here. Because when I go to actually write my book, I have to know the details of what I'm talking about. And then you got to match up the floor plans, of course, with the house. And let me tell you, it's not fun at all. But it's fun creating them because you get to create a floor plan on how you want everything done. There are days I just doodle and I sketch a house like this one here. And I save it. And someday it's going to become a house in a book. Why not? So this is why I get mad when you get these stupid colleges coming in here and they're like, oh, why don't you come to our college and we'll charge you $13,000 for 1 year of teaching you how to write. Well, let me tell you something. Here's what. I don't know how many minutes I've been talking. I know it's well over 17. I'm watching my clock of a lesson. Look at my picture behind me. Look at my lamp behind me. What color is my picture frame? It's gold. So if I were to write a picture about me sitting here talking to myself, and I'm looking in my camera lens, I would tell you that the picture behind me was I think it's a Renoir. I think it's a Renoir or Monet. I don't remember. Either way, I love the people. I think it's a Renoir. But I sit here and describe how I'm sitting here on my couch looking at myself through my laptop, and I'm staring at a picture. The picture was a printed copy on cardboard of a Renoir, two men on a boat, watercolored, against a white mat tucked neatly and carefully inside of a brass gold-looking colored frame. And it was hidden behind a tall lamp that had lampshades that stuck out like a tulip. The grayish silver chrome stood out against the beige walls, illuminating the white shades. You don't need $13,000 to tell you how to describe a lampshade. They're scamming you. And if you feel that you do not know how to write a story, then you need to open up your eyes and sit down and think. It's not that hard. People make bigger issues out of it. Your worst enemy in writing is description. The biggest problem in writing is a crappy story. You don't need $13,000 to sit here and tell you that your story sucks. Go to an honest friend who loves reading. Have them read your book. And if they look at you and say, oh, your book was okay, they're lying, it sucks. If they go, oh my God, I love your writing, you're such a good writer, you're being honest. It means you got something. So what you do is this. Here's your $13,000 lesson right now in the past 20 minutes so far that I've been talking. Description and story. If you're writing in reality, keep it reality. If you're writing in the past, keep it in the past. I don't know how many times I have to sit here and tell people to write in reality, it's easier. Because if you write in the past, write in the future, or write from fiction, it's so much harder. You have to do your homework. And I don't know how many times I can beat that into your brain. If you're talking about religion, you better have your Bible out. You better be talking to pastors, the whole 9 yards. And I'm seeing a lag on my computer. No. You better do your homework on locations. Nothing as bad as describing a state flag and realizing you're in the wrong state. Nothing as bad than describing a lake and realizing, like I did in my Red Riding Hood, the whole entire time she's in North Dakota, not South Dakota. And I had to go through my typing and fix that. Big giant oops. Could have made a big dilemma. And in my book, the 3 series of the Czech Republic, which I call the Czech Project, let me tell you something. I had to do my research. The last thing you want to do is write about a city of a place you've never been, have everything wrong, and then piss the country off in the process. If you cannot do your homework, then don't write. My Red Riding Hood 4 is taking part in Mexico. I've never been there. I've never been a minute of where I'm writing. I have to do my homework. I have to do my homework well. And guess what? I'm learning. And there's nothing wrong with learning. It just makes you a better writer when you know what you're talking about. You can't write about werewolves and make stuff up. Because there's somebody out there who loves Twilight that read everything about wolves and will tell you you are wrong. You can't make up stuff about vampires because this is 2015 and there's too many people out there telling you what vampires are because they've done their research and they have their facts. You can't make anything up. You have to read. There are too many books out there on paranormal. There's too many books out there on vampires. Too many books out there on demonic entities and demonic stories. America loves their stories. And if you don't have your facts straight, then it's a crappy story. And yeah, I'm going to call you out. Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity. Stupid movies. I am writing a paranormal book, and I hope to God it's better than that. It was done off fiction. It was done off of videotape. Blair Witch Project, the only reason why the hype was because the screen was dark. Well, guess what? Ooga ooga, I'm a ghost. I'm coming to kill you. Really? That's really stupid. And I'm tired of these stories of they're like, oh no, my boyfriend doesn't love me anymore. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh no, there's a guy, he's going to kill me. Dude, it's your freaking boyfriend. We all know it. And when you should be running upstairs, as they say in Scream, you really should be running outside. I mean, and then you open the door and go, hello? Is anybody there? I mean, what's the killer supposed to say? Yeah, I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich. Do you want one? Come on. Right with reality. If you see a ghost in front of you, would you go, oh no, it's a ghost? Or we go, holy mother of God. You'd react, you'd freak out. And you wouldn't sit there and go, vampire. You'd be like, yeah, I'm going to die. Stick to reality so people can relate. People want to relate to the story. And when they can't relate, they don't read it. So here is your lesson that just saved you $13,000 on how to become a writer. And maybe I'll do another lesson and tell you how to do it all for free online. Because it's not that hard to do. I did it. I've sold books already. Not as many as I'd like, but I've sold books already. So do yourself a favor. Save your money. And if you need to get a hold of me, find me on Facebook, Alexia Patrick, L.L.C, and I'll answer all of your questions. All of these suggestions also are on a photo album on my page. So go on like my page. There's only like 83 people, so I don't have 100 people yet, but go ahead and like my page and learn how to become a better writer. I share my frustrations, and you get to watch the stories unfold in front of me. You also get to see me post photo albums of the story that I'm currently writing. And as I'm writing it, you get to watch my research. You would be surprised what is on my Facebook page, if anybody's willing to listen. But here right now, at $25.56, is your $13,000 lesson of how to become a writer. Y'all can thank me later.